Good day, everybody. Welcome to Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home with our final video for our week, anyways. A couple of new things. I held off on doing this video until the items were shipped to everybody, but I couldn't hold off any longer. So today we're going to be using a Gillette British Aristocrat number 15. Did call an audible and put a King Gillette blade in here to see how that does in there. I'm sure you can guess what's coming. We're going to be using Saponificio Varesino 70th anniversary. In my opinion, still my favorite as far as scent's concerned. Not so much for performance, but for scent. And for the brush, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the TSC Shaving Cadre limited edition Olivewood brush from SV with the High Mountain Manchurian White. Now, as you can see, it gels really easy. And we're going to go into some detail on what I do to my brush to get it prepared, because you are, for those of you that know badgers, you know you have to kind of defunkify. But for the SV knot, it's about the same, but just some items of how I recommend you do it. You don't have to do it that way, but I think it makes the brush just perfect. And for our aftershave, we'll be using the 70th anniversary. And for the EDT, a new contestant in our den, Royall Yacht. Now this one has got everything in my wheelhouse. Basically geranium, jasmine, and it's wrapped into some ozone notes with cedarwood and musk. So it's just fantastic, and I think it'll go pretty well. Hope everybody's doing good. The brushes, according to what I'm seeing, should be there Thursday, Friday, in that area. But like I said, be patient. This is the U.S. Postal Service we're dealing with. The one thing I did notice about this brush as opposed to my other two is the knot, I think, is set just a tad bit lower. Nothing that'll affect it too much, but it just appears that way. But like with anything, it loads like a big dog. Displays very nicely, very soft on the face. I don't want to say no scritch, but very, 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 very little. As you can see, it splays wonderfully. This handle shape is fantastic to hold on to as well. The knot does take a good amount of water, but it releases lather very easily as long as you do the prep work in the beginning. So what I recommend doing is I recommend to defunkify the brush. This is the way I do it. However you want to do it is fine with me. Obviously, it's your brush, but I found that this works the best. And I do this with all my Badger and my Boar brushes. A little bit more water. First thing I'll do is I'll soak it for about 10 minutes in distilled vinegar, making sure not to touch, obviously just the hairs. And because this brush, I noticed, as opposed to some of the other ones, is a little bit funky, but that's the nature of the High Mountain Manchurian. Then after I do that, I'll rinse that real well, and then I will do what I call my magic brush break-in. And I do it with Mitchell's wool fat, and I do it because I've always done it that way, but more so than anything else because of the lanolin that's in the Mitchell's wool fat. I think that does soften the bristles and causes them to gel quicker. So after the vinegar, and as you can see, this thing is just loaded with lather. After the vinegar, I will do a quick wash with Dawn dishwashing liquid. Hey, if it's safe for ducks, it's safe for badger hair. And then once that's rinsed, I will soak the brush for a few minutes, and then I will load it with Mitchell's wool fat. And as I said, I think the lanolin in it is what helps. Now, obviously, if you've got a sensitivity to lanolin, do not do that. I think any tallow-based soap would probably work. But I load it fairly heavy until every single bristle is covered, and there's a pretty good bulb of lather. So kind of like this, but even more so. And then I set it aside for between 8 and 24 hours. And what that does, I don't know. I'm not a chemist. But there is a magic that occurs that makes the brush unbelievably soft, gelled, and ready to rock and roll. Now this is probably the 6th or 7th time that I've used this brush since I got it, and I have not shed one hair. But you definitely want to do the prep work, especially if this is your first high-end knot. And you can actually skip the distilled vinegar. If you're worried about the acidity, you can skip the vinegar portion of it if you want and go straight to the Dawn. But as you can see, this brush just screams wanting to let go of the lather. Now granted, it's SV, but the Olivewood is beautiful on all the brushes, I'm sure. And it's just a wonderful feeling brush. I think out of all the brushes I have, and I've got a bunch of high-end ones, I think this knot feels the best. Well, the King Gillette blade is actually doing pretty good for its first run. In the Crat. I don't know who makes these King Gillette blades, but if anybody has that information, please post it. The 15 Aristocrat is known by many to be a fairly aggressive open comb, and I would agree with that assessment. But it is a fun razor to shave with. So back to the brush. So after the 8 to 24 hours, rinse the brush well, and that should have gotten rid of most of the funkiness, and it should have gelled the tips, or at least started it. And you can repeat that procedure again if you want. I've never found any need to. The first time using the brush, even though it lets go of the lather pretty easily, it'll be a little bit less than after you use it for a while. So I'm very excited to see everybody's opinion once they get the brushes in their hands, because I know in the Zoom call, you know, that is only basically a webcam. But I hope everybody will post pictures and videos all over the planet. The one thing with the Crat is, at least with the 15, You do have to be cognizant of where the edges are because it does not have an edge protector for the blade. So therefore, if you get your angle off just a little bit, you can cut yourself pretty good. I've had some almost straight type related injury with this razor. Because you think it's a DE, you know, just like a feather where you can just zombie shave, and you really can't with this. An SV with a wet residual is very easy to do your post-shave cleanup. And the scent, although light, sticks around wonderfully for the 70th, for those of you that have it. I'll rinse off the brush just to show you the brush again and to kind of show you how nicely it gels. So you can see those tips gel very nice. The brush holds up beautifully with no finishing issues or anything like that. And it, like I said, it blooms pretty well. Like I said, it's a little bit lower, I think, than, for instance, it's the same. This is the same brush handle and everything else, but as you can see, this one splays a little bit more, and they're both 26mm knots. But then one of my other ones, my black one, is so this one's a little bit closer. So they bloom nice. They're very dense knot, and I think that you guys will be extremely happy. We're going to use the 70th anniversary for the aftershave, and I will say, I hope that they start using a different type of reducer. I would like to see SV use the reducers like A&E or Ethos. That way you're not pouring out a ton of product. But the 70th is just a wonderful, wonderful aftershave. Okay, for our talc today, we're just going to use the Menon. Just a classic talc. And doesn't ruin the subtle flavor of the settled dip, but just neat all the way around. Okay, for the EDT, once again, we're going to use the Royall. Now, the neat thing about the Royall is in the larger bottles, it automatically comes with an atomizer, which is kind of cool. You just take the crown off, stick the atomizer in, and it comes with it, built for it. So it's kind of nice that you can, instead of ruining and splashing over everywhere, you can, and it's a nice spray. It's not overly heavy. It's not a fire hose like the WSP ones. Plus it allows you to get enough on your finger and so forth to do the touch points. And that's it. Oh, what a wonderful smell this is. And you can actually store it that way, although the cap doesn't screw on, you can store it that way. So if you haven't tried Royall Yacht, along with any of the other Royall products, they are very good. Well, that's it, folks. The first inaugural shave with my SV limited edition the Shaving Cadre brush. You guys are really going to love these, I think. They've all got beautiful, beautiful wood marking and everything else. So once again, thanks to everybody involved. Thanks for your patience. This was something that we really wanted to bring to you guys, and I hope you enjoy it and post lots of pictures. My thanks to Alessandro and Marco from Saponificio, Varesino, and all their staff, because it's amazing how many people it takes to get this brush made. So we certainly do appreciate it. That's been my shave. Barber Days, Barbershop at Home. We hope everybody has a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you again very soon. If you haven't seen us before, www.theshavingcadre.com. Come on and join us. Have a good day.